Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry. Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So, in the recent news of Al Franken resigning from his Senate position, I've decided to do Al Franken versus Roy Moore, and this one I've seen was suggested before. So this wasn't my own idea, but I decided that it would be, I guess, in the mood to do right now. And right now, as it stands, Roy Moore probably isn't going to drop out. There's probably little to no chance that he is going to drop out of the Senate race, considering that the stretch is over. He's been re-endorsed by the GOP, and not a lot of bad things have come from it yet, and we've yet to see the results hinder him in such a way that it did for the president in the general election year of 2016. The poll numbers weren't that exciting. I mean, for the Democrat to actually poll within 10%, I guess that's something that you could talk about. But I expected the race to come down to within less than 10% before the allegations came in. Personally, I just think that the people of Alabama are they don't want to, a lot of them don't want to tell the pollsters that they're voting for Roy Moore, yet they are, just because they want to avoid ridicule, things like that. But overall, Roy Moore is probably going to win and become another senator. He probably won't be expelled, considering he is another Republican in a Republican-controlled Senate. And overall, one of these people is likely to be a senator, and it's not going to be Al Franken. But now we're going for the presidential level. So we'll fill in the home states, respectively, Alabama, Minnesota. Minnesota I would give to Franken. The reasoning behind it is, even with the allegations behind him, his approval rating is still considerably high enough. And in Minnesota, the home state factor definitely would have helped out Franken. I understand the argument that, hey, they don't like him anymore because he resigned from the Senate. Well, that's not necessarily true in this case. But so now we have 10 for Al Franken and 9 for Roy Moore, and we're gonna fill in the Western Coast states because they're a lot easier to touch on. And yeah, so Utah I'm going to leave as a toss-up because of the heavy Mormon population there. That doesn't really go well with them. But overall, Missouri, yeah, would likely be safe red. All the northeastern states, of course, would be safe red. Right now I actually got a goat case. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a case where you can stick your phone on pretty much any surface like glass and it will stick. So I'm probably going to use that when I'm recording my videos, like put it on one of my windows, just so I can record myself. And yeah, or if I'm doing a live stream, that would be better. But right now we have 199 electoral votes for Al Franken, 258 for Roy Moore. A couple of these states, a state like Georgia, although Roy Moore is actually very conservative, but so are the people of Georgia. Donald Trump was really that fake Republican that he was attacked as, and although it didn't work, he eventually did win the state. However, the state of Georgia was closer than it has been for past elections and past Republican candidates. And I think the state would go to Roy Moore just based off where he's from. But the fact that Al Franken did admit to the sexual allegations compared to piling up evidence against Roy Moore, it just makes him look like he's someone who's trying to deny the facts. And I understand the argument that, oh, Al Franken's already admitted it, so that means he must be worse by practice. And no, the fact that Roy Moore still hasn't admitted it, I'm pretty sure almost all of his supporters know he did it. They're just denying it, and a lot of people deny it just to make him look better. But honestly, I'm pretty sure America has a good understanding that Roy Moore is not innocent. I don't know what they're trying to expect by denying the allegations with the considerable amounts of proof, but that's up to them to decide because it is their campaign. So we're going to go over to the Rust Belt. Those I would leave as solidly for Al Franken. The reasoning behind it is Al Franken is from the Rust Belt. He could appeal to them, and Roy Moore is that super conservative that the Rust Belt tends to stay away from in presidential election years. Now, because of his super conservative values, I would give him states like Utah and North Carolina and Arizona. There would likely be less Latino turnout for Al Franken. Same thing for African American turnout, but overall, I think that Roy Moore will carry the state of Arizona and North Carolina. But then we go over to states like Colorado, New Mexico, and Nevada. These states I would give to Al Franken because I think that he would be able to grasp these voters a lot better than Roy Moore. Going all the way up to Maine, Roy Moore is not one of those rule, I'm a businessman, here I can appeal to you, I can get you your jobs back type of candidate. He's a very conservative candidate. Even with Al Franken's allegations, they both kind of weigh each other out at this point, and it would just be policy versus policy, and Al Franken would do far better on debates with probably with a VP choice. Being completely honest, Roy Moore hasn't been the best with choosing people to represent his campaign, especially with his one of his campaign spokespersons just going to God every time that she was called out for things about Roy Moore and using God essentially as a way to defend what Roy Moore did, and that's not right. But yeah, so we're gonna go on to now we have 265 electoral votes to 207 for Roy Moore. I don't know why I filled in the state of Maine for Roy Moore, but so now we have 266 votes for Franken. Being completely honest, Franken would likely win Virginia. He has a lot of support there, and the Democratic vote, he pretty much aligns with a lot of the Democrats in the state of Virginia. He's not one of the more progressive Democrats. He's more of the moderate type, and that's definitely going to help him in that state. Then we go over to states like Ohio and Iowa. The state of Iowa, I think, could go to Roy Moore, but the state of Ohio, I would actually give to Al Franken. Actually, now that I think about it, Iowa, I think, would go to Al Franken as well. And my reasoning is that Al Franken would better appeal to these voters. He comes from an area around this. Roy Moore doesn't have much to bring to the table, and he doesn't seem as appealing as a candidate as Al Franken might. So now we're going down to the state of Florida, which I think would go to Roy Moore, just based with that southern appeal. I see Roy Moore as the victor in the state of Florida by a narrow margin, but I think he still would pull it off considering he has the southern appeal and some of the conservative policies. And yeah, so this is the final electoral map, 303 for Al Franken to 235 for Roy Moore. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.